Welcome back. Time is 7:42. A family in Berkeley County, South Carolina is suing Delta Airlines, claiming an employee stole an iPad they left on board a connecting flight out of Charleston and then, get this, used it to take pornographic pictures of themselves. The mother started receiving random text messages about the device. The family filed a lost and found report with the airline in July of 2023, but then in August, pornographic videos showed up in her iCloud, taken by someone they believed to be a Delta employee while wearing their uniform.
Should have been a fun family getaway. It was riddled with confusion and anxiety over unauthorized access to their personal devices, a breach of privacy, and the transmission of highly inappropriate content through their own child's personal devices, something they never would have expected.
The family is suing Delta and Delta-owned Unify Aviation. They're demanding a jury trial and requesting the court to award damages.
All right, this is a bizarre case, so let's bring in Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. This family, as we just mentioned, asking for a jury trial and damages. What kind of damages can they claim if their personal images were not on this iPad, but it was their property?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. You guys, I like that you saved the bizarre ones for me. I mean, the damages are a few things. You're suing for damages because that's connected to negligence, duty, breach, causation, and damages. That's that last portion. And so when you sue for an amount, when people kind of lump that all in there, that's what they're talking about, the damages, the harm that you've caused me. But this case, I think, is dead on arrival for a number of reasons. I didn't see the mention of them suing the individual. I looked a number of times. What I did see is it says that family sues Delta. And sues Delta for negligence, infliction of emotional distress, intentional infliction of emotional distress. When I was in law school, those were like the two favorite things. When we learned about that, everyone was trying to make that stick in every case, in every scenario. The professor may read a bunch of facts to you, and you're like, hey, negligent infliction of emotional distress. And they're like, no, sit down. Why? Because it's extremely hard to connect to those dots. First of all, for an intentional infliction of emotional distress, it has this big jump hurdle. It has to be extreme and outrageous conduct. While this may be something that troubled the family, I wouldn't consider this extreme and outrageous. He wasn't taking pictures and sending them to them personally. He wasn't saying, hey, here's your cell phone number, I'm gonna start sending you stuff. He was taking pictures what he believed was on a newly found iPad, and he was thinking and believing that they were storing to the pad. We didn't recognize they're sending them to the cloud. Then the family was getting them. So there was really no transmission from him to them with the second part, which would be intent to commit some extreme and outrageous conduct. The second part is the negligence. I don't see that this would be negligence because he has no duty, breach, or causation to them. And again, he's not suing them. They're suing Delta. Delta has absolutely zero connection to this. And so I can explain why that portion of the argument is problematic.
Okay, so if you're defending Delta, you've already mentioned one of those things where this person allegedly wasn't sending it directly to the family. But if you're Delta's saying that the accused is not an employee but a vendor. Is Delta still, because it's a third party, are they still somehow liable? They didn't return. There's a lost and found. It wasn't returned.
Right.
Like
So a couple things in this situation. You know, typically I'm going to try to find a way to be able to make an argument for the defense or for a plaintiff. In this situation, I believe this one, again, is dead on arrival. The employer, Delta, is typically not held responsible for the actions of their employee, specifically actions that are outside the scope of their employment. It's hard to get them for things that are within the scope of their employment. That's where you see the majority of their lawsuits. Okay, you're walking down an aisle, someone's pushing a cart, and they end up running over your leg. Yeah, they're within the course of their employment. But I can guarantee Delta doesn't have anywhere in their employee policy send nude pictures of yourself to passengers, take videos, and continue to upload them to the cloud. That's not in the handbook, and I know it's not in their manual, so they'll point to their manual. It probably says something like, if you find a device on the plane, take it to lost and found, take it to some type of location so a company or family could find it. So because he didn't do that, Delta could just point to our policy and say this employee was acting outside the scope of our policy, and then they'll be clear. It's extremely hard for you to get something called respondeat superior, meaning you can hold the employer responsible for the actions of the employee.
Khalif, let's shift gears. So what if they had tailored this lawsuit or file a future lawsuit against the individual? Do they have a leg to stand on there?
They got legs to stand on, but it's back to law school again. They teach you to go after the biggest fish.
Right.
No one's going after the minnow. You're going after the well. Delta's the well, and they're attempting.
But you got to leave the fishing pier with something, right?
You ain't gonna leave the fish with a wasted time. You're gonna get a summary disposition, meaning now you're lawyers, this attorneys filed this claim that ultimately is going to be dismissed. Delta will file a claim saying that I want a 12B6 motion, failure to state a claim where you can get relief. And second, I want a summary disposition. You guys have wasted my time. The judge is going to grant this instantly because you can't make the connection for any of these claims. Negligent intention of emotional distress, intentional infliction of emotional distress, sexual assault. I'm confused on where that came from. The only one would maybe be harassment, and then it would be that intent. That's a specific intent crime. I have to specifically intend to harass you. He's uploading the videos. And I mean, I know how this technology works. It goes from this device to the cloud, back to their computer screen where they can check their cloud. He had to have intent to say, I'm sending it directly to you. None of these accusations or claims would I find merit to him at all. Against Delta, against him, the only thing I could say is larceny, because you can intend to commit a crime and not give it back to the people. That's about it. That's a criminal charge. So there's no money connected to that.
And that's a small fish compared to obviously taking on Delta. So thanks for breaking that down for us. Definitely got a lot of people talking this morning.
Indeed.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.